Most men aren't looking for the wrong woman because they're shallow. They're looking for what they've been repeatedly taught to admire. The question isn't whether women are good or bad. The question is whether the qualities that capture the attention are the same qualities that sustain a real life relationship. Welcome back to Undivided. I'm your host, Adam Maxwell, where we discuss how to rebuild your life through faith, discipline, and adventure. Let me ask you a quick question. If I asked 100 men what they wanted in a wife, what do you think they would say? I'm assuming they'd answer loyal, honest, peaceful, supportive, kind, faithful, maybe just somebody who they can trust. Now, if that's what men say they would want, then why do men spend so many years chasing something completely different? I think it has to do with the rules of attraction. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say you shouldn't be attracted to beauty. And let us not forget that God is the one that created beauty. The issue isn't truly the attraction factor. It's the issue is what happens is when attraction becomes the only filter for our relationships. Obviously, there's an initial attraction. You have to be initially attracted to somebody out of the gate, and then you need to figure out if you have long term compatibility with that person. The first gets you into the relationship, and the second is how you determine whether that relationship is going to survive or not. And as we talked about red flags and looking out for all these different warning signs, um, you just have to work your way through that process. And attraction may start the relationship, but character is what truly sustains it. And as we've already talked about what gets promoted online, the algorithm truly rewards visibility. It promotes what captures our attention, not necessarily the wisest or the most kind. I mean, the wisest, come on, right here, right? The most kind or the most faithful people that are out there. I mean, one day I hope that that changes, but until then, let's dive into what gets promoted out there. Obviously, appearances, you know, attractive young ladies certainly pull your attention. We've talked about the statuses and looks maxing and all these other things and luxury lifestyles. Controversy where you see these relationships falling apart or I caught my spouse cheating and all that stuff. Drama really draws us in for some reason. And obviously, last but not least, is sexuality. Um, the internet is just crawling with pornography and crawling with women trying to get attention and get views and clicks, whether that's trying to drag you to their OnlyFans or some other site that's similar to that. But at the end of the day, all of those things are a form of escapism, wanting to immerse yourself in something or somebody else's lifestyle. And I just hate to believe that having a conventional lifestyle can't be considered exciting. Because if you have a conventional lifestyle and things are going great, rather than just being mundane, it should be exciting to you. I know that there's so much out there trying to push you to these awesome and amazing adventures and these crazy and amazing lifestyles and these super hot baddies that are running around. And it's easy to get yourself drawn off by that stuff. And again, there's nothing wrong with looking up and wanting more. But when it begins to harm your everyday, harm your well being, or harm your relationships, it might be time to rethink these things because it's the style of because it's this style of content we all consume for hours every single day. Why would we be surprised when it shapes what we notice first? And guys, it's not your fault, right? It's not truly your fault. And don't worry, ladies, I'm not trying to blame you either. Although you running around in them leggings all the time is hard not to grab our attention, I can assure you that. But it's a system built around our everyday lives. A system that if you do nothing to stop it, it can and will truly consume you. Because the algorithm isn't rewarding the best partner for you, it's rewarding the best performance that grasps your attention. Because the longer they can hold on to your attention, the more ads they can throw in your face, and the more you become the product, as we've talked before. Now, what do men actually need out there? Let's take a second to imagine it. Imagine the hardest year of your life, whether it was a job loss, illness, financial issues, parenting problems, relationship loss, or losing a family member. If you're looking for someone to be standing by your side through one or all of these challenges, what qualities would you truly want? You want perfect hair, banging bodies, a ton of followers, or making sure that they're trendy, standing in front of a mirror for hours at a time, glamming themselves up? I'm guessing no. I'm guessing it would look a little different. You'd want somebody that was peaceful. They were loyal to you. They felt compassion. They were there to give you wisdom, emotional steadiness, and encourage you when you're in your worst moments rather than giving up on you. And last of all, faith. Being a faithful individual with God in their heart will be the number one thing that will help you get beyond any problem. That's the difference between somebody who's exciting to look at and someone who is dependable to build with. The woman who helps you carry your life's burdens may not be the woman the internet taught you to chase. Now, what is a real baddie, right? What is a baddie? What is the baddie that you need in your life? A baddie is a term that mainly meant a confident, stylish, and very attractive woman. The question is it a coincidence that it historically meant that it was a villain? Got to ask yourself, right? Does my life need someone who is attractive and fashionable, right? They put excessive effort into their looks, makeup, and clothes. Maybe that is what you really want in your life. Well, yeah, and if it is, then go and get it, right? Whether they're confident and independent, they have high self worth, they own their style, and they live their life on their own terms. Um, for a successful relationship, it's hard to deal with that. I'm not saying don't find somebody confident or independent. I'm saying that sometimes when they're too independent, they live life on their own terms and they will live their life for nobody else but themselves. That to me sounds like, I don't know, maybe a disaster waiting to happen within your relationship. An empowered attitude. Do you want them to have an empowered attitude? That baddie energy, bold and unbothered by what other people think. I think there's portions of that are true, but don't go jumping to any conclusions, because this might be exactly what you're looking for. But I want you to think about what your long-term relationship goals are, and just maybe we have defined baddie all wrong all along. Maybe a truly remarkable woman is one who can tell you the truth, even when it hurts, keep their word when they promise you things in life, handle conflict with maturity. So if you guys are getting into arguments, you know how to, make full circle on these arguments and actually, you know, come out of it with growth. And like I say, encouraging your growth for that matter, making sure that you're pushing yourself to become the best version of you and staying faithful even when life gets hard. And again, back to it, walking with God. Because the question is, do you want to build a shallow home or do you want to build a home where your family will flourish? Is the real question out of it all, right? Like, would those qualities stand out in your Instagram feed? I'm guessing not. But they would, however, stand out over 20, 30, 40 years of marriage. And remember, beauty fades, but glory stays. The internet celebrates what's impressive, but life rewards what is dependable. And when you get down to the nitty gritty of it all, we always come back to the Christian version of beauty. Because the Lord doesn't hold value in an individual through gifts of strength or beauty, but rather by their hearts and by what's inside. It's and it isn't important what we see. It's who a person is on the inside that truly matters. And God is concerned with our humility and obedience rather than our external struggles or external attractiveness, excuse me. And in 1 Samuel 17:7, it says, "But the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at the things people look at, People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. And this goes for all of us, men and women. But what does it say about finding a wife? And we can get into it. Proverbs 31. I found in Proverbs 31. I like this first part, but it doesn't have to do with really a wife. I just like it because it's slightly powerful, I believe. So Proverbs 31, it goes a little bit something like this. The saying of King Lemuel, an inspired utterance of his mother taught him. Listen, my son, listen, son of my womb. Listen, my son, the answer to my prayers. Do not spend your strength on women, your vigor on those who ruin kings. It is not for kings, Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, not for rulers to crave beer, lest they drink and forget what has been decreed, and deprive all of the oppressed of their rights. Let beer be for those who are perishing, wine for those who are in anguish. Let them drink and forget their poverty, and remember their misery no more. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and the needy. Like I say, I dig that one a lot. I mean, it goes into multiple things, don't spend all your strength on women, right? And your vigor for those who ruin kings, which meaning keep the people around you that are good and discard the ones that are not. And then how it goes into drinking wine and drinking beer and who it's for. Um, it's not saying that you shouldn't have a glass of wine or you shouldn't have a beer, but if you're consuming it constantly to try to forget your anguish and forget about the misery that you have in your life, um, it's just going to harm you in the end, right? So, like I said, I just like that one because I think that it's powerful and has a lot of meaning behind it. But if you just continue on in Proverbs 31, 10 through 31, um, it's actually 31:30. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but it's much longer than that, and I'll go into it here. Okay, so it's Proverbs 31:10 through 31. A wife of a noble character who can find. She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like a merchant ships, bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it is still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it, and out of her earnings she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She sees that her trading is profitable, and her lamp does not go out at night. In her hand she holds the distaff, and grasps a spindle with her fingers. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. She makes coverings for her bed. She is clothed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes his seat among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies the merchants with sashes. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all, he says. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Honor her for all of her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. So there's a lot to unpack there, but the description of the ideal wife may make some women feel somewhat inadequate because just like the expectation of a perfect disciple, perfection is unattainable. These are standards to strive towards, not exactly like hold yourself completely to. And the thing is I don't want you to fall into the perfectionist trap or try to be like, well, if she doesn't hit all these, then no good for me, right? Um, by accepting herself for who she is, a woman, she's committing to asking the Lord to transform her into his likeness, just like a disciple does the same. And she'll become more and more like the ideal wife with each faithful day that she lives. And like I say, so it's an epilogue, like the wife, like the noble character of a wife in reality. Another passage that I came across too that I really liked was First Peter 3 1 through 6. Let me grab on over to there. Okay. She reads First Peter 3 1 through 6. Wives in the same way. And hold on, let me start here. So this passage here, I feel like, has been taken out of context, or absolutely can be taken out of context pretty easily by people who are either non-religious, or they aren't sure. A lot of oftentimes, like, the feminist view kind of jumps down the throat of this, but if I take it out of context, I can make anything sound bad. So you have to ride through this baby all the way to the end to grab what it's really trying to say, and to not take the words and twist them, to mean bad things, right? So it goes, wives, in the same way, submit yourselves to your own husbands, so that if any of them do not believe the word, they may be won over without words by the behavior of their wives, when they see the purity and reverence of their lives. Your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles and wearing gold jewelry and fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of the inner self. Now, it's not saying that you shouldn't look good sometimes and you shouldn't dress up, for events. It's saying that if that's, if you adorn yourself that way all the time, it might be a problem. So it should be that of your inner self. The unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is often worth God's sight. For this is the way the holy women of the past who put their hope in God used to adorn themselves. They submitted themselves to their own husbands, like Sarah, who obeyed Abraham and called him her Lord. Now, calling him her Lord, this was a different time, a different place, and they used language differently. She was just saying that he was the head of the household, in my humble opinion. So you move past that, right? So called him her Lord. You are her daughters if you do what is right and do not give way to fear. Husbands, in the same way, be considerate as you live with your wives, and treat them with respect as the weaker partner and as heirs with you of your gracious gift of life, so that nothing will hinder your prayers. So it's saying at the end there that husbands need to be considerate and treat their wives with respect. And somebody like, oh, weaker. For the most part, men are stronger and larger and protectors. Not saying that's every single case, so don't take me out of context either. But within this, within Peter, God's design for marriage is for the wife to respect her husband and for the husband to be sensitive and loving towards his wife, because marriage allows husband and wife to receive God's blessings, love, grace, and guiding truths. If you're married, you know that it's not always easy to work through the problems. It requires you to resolve conflicts by being vulnerable and confronting the truth even when it hurts, right? Working through these problems with your partner, emotional states of mind, trauma from your childhood, or even simple problems allows you to grow. Our Lord gives God designed us to have emotions so that we can resolve our problems. If one doesn't allow the process to come full circle when you're trying to resolve your emotional issues, that's when the devil comes in and creates a divide within your own mind. So, if these qualities are what scripture says God produced in people, why wouldn't they also be the qualities that make someone an incredible husband or wife? Because the best part of relationships aren't built by two perfect people, they're built by the two people who are both being transformed by God. And you got to look into this too with a mirror. Like let's look at some of the qualities that we're truly looking for, right? We talked about it earlier: loyalty, peace, patience, faithfulness, self control, just trustworthiness. So the question is are you becoming that kind of man yourself? Do you reflect these same qualities? Or do you just you don't just find a healthy relationship, you help create that relationship. And that doesn't mean, uh, you know, um, that doesn't mean that like you're not going to have problems in a relationship. So I just want to, get out there and want you to get out there and here's your field assignment for this week if you so choose. But for a week, try to notice what catches your attention online. Like each time you stop scrolling due to a simple attraction, ask yourself, would I admire the same person if I only knew their actions and couldn't see them? Close your eyes to the beauty factor of it and think, okay, is this person somebody who would make my life better on a day-to-day basis? And grab a pen, write some of this stuff down, right? You can listen to it all you want, and not obviously not if you're driving. I'm going to take a little coffee break here. I make myself some delicious homemade vanilla lattes. I've gotten much, much better at it over the years. But I want you to take a little time, write down 5 qualities you genuinely hope your future wife has, or your current wife, right? And the question is, are these qualities, would they still be, you know what I mean? Like the qualities, would the wife still be able to possess them at age 70, right? Because like beauty ain't gonna stick around. I mean, I'm not exterior, right? I'm not talking internal beauty. Style and character. Are these things going to stick around and really want to be something that you want um, to be with you for 20, 30, or 40 years or more? Then take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I cultivating these same qualities for somebody else? Because if you're not, then like I say, go back to the drawing board, try to find your flaws, try to see if you can fix them, try to work on your poor habits that will make you better. Sit your butt down in a church and see what they have to tell you about how you're running your life. And really, this season has been about uncovering how the algorithm shapes our desires. But the deeper question has always been this: what kind of life are those desires leading us towards? Right? Don't forget, attention changes, beauty fades, and trends come and go, but character grows forever. And if you're building a life instead of chasing a fantasy, character will always outlast the attention. It's not about finding a good woman, it's about finding a woman you can build a real life with. As always, it's been great spending my time with all of you. And remember, if you love what I'm doing here at Undivided, hit that like button, subscribe now, and share this with all of your friends. This is a grassroots journey, and I just want to continue, and I need your help to do that. I can't do this without you. Again, thank you so much for everything and all your time. I'm Adam Maxwell with Undivided, and I look forward to spending time with you every week and seeing where this amazing journey will take us. I love you all, and peace out.